Morning world, it's Monday morning, it's the 25th of September 2023, it's about 9:30am, 10am UK time. In 4 days time, it's the full moon. Full moon in Aries, which is one of the 2 full moons each year where every astrologer worth their salt will go, I think I better check on that one. Because full moon in Aries is always potentially a little bit more sparky, volatile, impulsive, dynamic, all those lovely Aries words. And full moon in Aries can get a little bit sort of active. But this one seems to be fairly quiet in certain ways and very active in others. Now, First thing first, let's get the basics right. The full moon is Friday morning at in between 10:57 and 10:58 a.m. UK time. So adjust that for whatever time zone you're in the world. A lot of people in the last few years have gone on about supermoons, blue moons, moons with animal names, harvest moons, whatever. Look, the moon goes around the earth every 27 and a half days, and because the earth goes around the sun, then the moon plays catch up, so there's a new moon or full moon every 29 days, 29 and a half days. Right, that's one cycle. The moon also, in its journey around the earth, goes up and down, which is why sometimes the full moon is almost directly overhead, and other times the full moon will be really low on the horizon. The moon also not only goes up and down and round and round, but it also comes in and out. And at times it can be up to 7 or 8% closer to the Earth than it normally is, or 7 to 8% further away from the Earth than it normally is. This is why when it's really close to the Earth and you get an eclipse, the sun is totally obscured. But when it's far away from the Earth and you get a full moon, that's when you get the ring of fire phenomena, which is what's coming up in 2.5 weeks' time over America. When the moon is very close to the Earth, the media and some astrologers will start muttering words like, it's a supermoon. Now, I used to buy into this because it would happen once every 2-3 years, and I thought, this is interesting. But now every moon's a supermoon, and I'm like, oh, come on. Really? It's full moon, or it's new moon. And let's not get away from the basic meanings of what it means. Since time immemorial, humans have used the new moon as a time of a fresh start, a new beginning, a launch point. And they have used the full moon as a time of conclusion, endings, letting go, bringing things to a successful end. It's a time of reaping as much as the new moon is a time of sowing. Now this full moon, neither the sun nor the moon at the time of full moon make any type of aspect to any other planet in the sky. Therefore, the meaning of this full moon is not that strong in terms of global events. The new moon that's coming up, the full moon is not that strong in terms of global events. The new moon that's coming up after that, different story, but we'll deal with that one in a week or two. However, elsewhere in the sky at the time of the full moon, there's lots of things going on. For a start off, there is a pretty much exact square, less than 1/4 of a degree square from Venus to Uranus. Now, the study of Venus over recent weeks has been fascinating. Up until recently, up until about 3 months ago, Venus was the evening star, and many of us saw it as a really bright, vivid star high in the western horizon just after sunset. And now Venus is the morning star. And in recent weeks, Venus has travelled both higher in the sky and further north in the sky than where it was. So now Venus is very clearly vivid around an hour, even a 2 hour, even an hour and a half before dawn. And it's easily the brightest thing in the sky at that time in the morning on the eastern horizon. It's quite spectacular to see at the moment. As Venus stopped going retrograde about a week or two ago, it stood still exactly squaring Jupiter. It's been squaring Jupiter for the last 3 weeks, which when I've been talking to my students, I've been saying, well, look, just don't spend too much money and don't let yourself get too fat and watch out for overindulgence. And now Venus has moved on. Venus is beginning to pick up speed. Venus is now approaching maximum elongation from the Sun. What that means is that as we speak, Venus is about 43.5 degrees away from the Sun. And what this means is that Venus is at its most brightest. 43.5 degrees away from the Sun. Maximum elongation for Venus is about 46 degrees, which it will hit very shortly. So Venus is at its most visible now. But Venus is also, over the next few days, coming into exact square to Uranus. And this will be precise around the time of the full moon. So of a square from Venus to Uranus, this does suggest that there's going to be some sudden endings, some sudden blow-ups. There'll be eruptions of some type, and I doubt if I mean physical in terms of volcano or geophysical. I'm talking more about personal relationship stuff, whether it is personal and intimate or friend, and obviously this isn't going to hit everyone. But those people who are being hammered by Uranus this year. So what am I looking at here? I'm looking at those people born around 12th, 13th of May and the 12th, 13th of November, and maybe even the 12th, 13th of, or more like the 13th, 14th of August, and then the 11th, 12th of February. And if you're one of these people, then this full moon could easily be somewhat volatile and unpredictable and disruptive. So don't go into this full moon if you're one of these people with a chip on your shoulder. Instead, go into it in a way that says, I'll meet people halfway. That way you'll avoid a lot of trouble. But everything else around this full moon is relatively quiet. Yes, Mars is in Libra, a sign that it's not that happy in, and it will be opposite the node, getting stronger and stronger as we get into the period of the full moon and just after it. But that's not a big deal. Mercury is rapidly catching up with the Sun now, picking up speed after its recent retrogrades. And Mercury's nice. So I don't see this as a big full moon. It's going to affect certain individuals dramatically. But these are the exception rather than the rule. And let's please not buy into this hype and spin around supermoons. This is a normal full moon. Yes, it's a bit pokey because it's in Aries. But that only makes it 5 to 10% more interesting than normal. It's not a big deal. So have a quiet full moon and then brew up for the big eclipse on October the 14th. Catch you later. Bye.